Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to the July 27th, 2020 hearing for the Town of Brookhaven Planning Board. At this time, I'd like to have a roll call. I'd start with Mr. Zarcone. You can answer by saying present.
Present.
Ms. Kelly.
Present.
Mr. Walutis.
Present.
Mr. Dunn.
Present.
Mr. Smith.
Present.
Mr. Rose.
Present.
I'm Vincent Pascal. I'm present. We have with us counsel to the Planning Board, Ms. Lee Raitt, Commissioner of the Planning Environmental Land Management Department, Ms. Beth Riley, and Secretary of the Planning Board, Ms. Eileen McCallion. As Counsel Raitt had mentioned earlier, if anyone is as a participant, please answer in the Q&A portion, whether you're here as a representative of the applicant or as someone from the public who wishes to speak on the application. It might also be beneficial when you fill that out if you can let us know if you're a counselor. So with that being said, I'd like to start with item number 1. It's Yaphank Auto Auction at Yaphank. I'd like to have a motion on that.
Do you want to go over the adjournments first?
Okay, here was the one. Ms. McCallion, are there any items on the agenda that will not be heard?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Item number 15, Old Orchard subdivision at Wading River, is going to be adjourned until August 17th, 2020.
Okay, so if anyone's in as a participant and they're here for Old Orchard subdivision at Wading River, we will not be hearing that this afternoon. It will be heard on August 17th. I'd like to have a motion for Yaphank Auto Auction at Yaphank.
And Mr. Chairman, just to let you know, Keith Archer, who represents the applicant, is in the meeting. I realize that he doesn't need to speak, but he's here for the meeting.
Hi, Gay. How are you?
Okay.
I don't need to speak, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, we're just going to do a motion on this, Mr. Archer.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to accept the draft supplemental environmental impact statement and to set a combined public hearing on the DSEIS site plan and special permit for September 14th, 2020.
Motion by Ms. Dunn,
Second, Richard Smith.
second by Mr. Smith. Mr. Zarcone,
I'm in favor.
Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Vote aye.
Mr. Rose.
Aye.
Board votes aye. Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Item number 2, Jefferson Estates, lot number 4 at Port Jeff Station.
I don't seem to have anyone here on this application.
I got 37 participants, and only 8 in the Q&A.
I have certain, oh, I'm sorry. Hold on a moment. That's why I'm saying this. Somebody is coming up and I'm missing, just give me one moment. I have a lot of people in my queue, so just give me one moment. Okay, I have Ms. Williams coming in.
Okay. All right, item number 2, Jefferson Estates, lot number 4 at Port Jeff Station. Can we go over the application?
The application is for relief of covenant on the map of Jefferson Estates, Lot 4. The applicant requests a clearing limit increase from 65.6% to 82.1% to build a pool and garage and reduce the existing variable width buffer to 40 feet. The development of Jefferson Estates subdivision had a town dedication of approximately 3 acres of open space, which represented 25.3% of the property. A 53% overall clearing limit was put on the overall subdivision. The remainder of the subject site is preserved with a variable width buffer to meet the covenanted 53% clearing restriction. The applicant has cleared approximately 60.6% of the lot outside of that variable width buffer. They're currently able to clear an additional 5% or 1,682 square feet of the parcel. Clearing of the variable width buffer would violate the 53% clearing limit for the Jefferson Estates subdivision overall. The Division of Environmental Protection objects to this application and recommends denying the applicant's request to clear the variable width buffer, which would result in a clearing limit increase from 65.6% to 82.1%.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do we have anyone in the participants on this application, Council?
I have the Williamses in on this application.
Okay, can we get them on so I can swear them in?
Hello, we're here.
Okay,
Can
can
you
you
hear?
please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
Okay, okay, what would you like to speak on the application?
We would like to take down some of the trees in order to be able to put a pool in the garage in, because the amount of the backyard that we do have, and also with the leach field that's sitting in the way, is giving us the problem to do so. We had not removed any trees from this property. It's a brand new house. We just closed on it in the end of September, so we haven't done anything outside, and we'd like to try to do all this legally and take down the trees that we'd like to take down, kind of square off the backyard in a sense. We still want to leave a buffer in the back. We're not asking to take down all the trees. And I know over in this neighborhood, I've seen other people that have recently just cleared down all their trees on their property. And I'm trying to do this legally. I don't want to cause any troubles. And I plan on putting trees back on the property when I do all the landscape to the property. You do have pictures of the property as it sits right now with no landscape, no trees, no nothing to it, no fence, because we haven't done anything to it yet. Yes, those are the pictures.
Okay.
And you see the amount of space that's actually between the back of the house and that picket fence, that post and rail fence. There's not enough space to say put a garage or put a pool where we'd like to put something. And so that's the reason why we're asking to do this.
Is that, are you complete? Are you finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anyone else in the chat room or the participant council?
No, I don't have anyone else.
Any board members have questions?
Just have one question, Mr. Chairman. Did the folks understand what the setbacks were when they purchased this house?
No, sir.
The attorney and the person who helped you close on this house didn't tell you that the rear yard was restricted because of the clearing limits?
The builder of the house, Len Axon, he had told us that we have no problem taking down trees or anything like that. Then after we wound up signing contract and the house is under the way, we asked him, well, are you gonna be taking down some of the trees? And he says, oh, no, we can't. This is after the contracts have already been drawn and everything else. Money's already been exchanging hands. And he knew our intents from the get-go. He knew the intent of that we were gonna be putting a pool in the backyard, any garage in the backyard. And he basically lied to us, and now everything's left upon us. You know, if I had known this from the get-go, then I wouldn't have done it. I would have just stayed in my old house.
All right, so you're at 65.6%. And you say you're going to plant additional trees somewhere else. What percentage do you think you would require to be able to put a pool in that particular area?
I'm sorry, say that again, sir?
How much more, what percentage increase do you think, without going to the 82%, that's not going to happen. So what do you think you could do, the minimum increase, to get a swimming pool in behind the house, between that and the buffer?
Can I leave, say, 7,500 feet? Which would roughly leave me, say, 50-foot buffer, 50 by 150-foot buffer in the backyard?
We'll take it under advisement.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
What is that, what's beyond that buffer that is we're required to have so much space there, like beyond that north side of the buffer, I believe it is? What is
It's
it?
commercial property.
What is it?
Mr. Rose, this is Richard Smith speaking. It's not a question of what's behind it. What happened was when they did the subdivision, they had to have a cumulative 53% clearing limit. And in order to make that up, it's variable. The buffer is variable. They had to have that much open space in order to get approval to build the subdivision. And in this particular case, the buffer goes into the backyard irregularly on this particular piece of property. It's not from anything, it's just the amount that was supposed to stay buffered as a cumulative amount of vegetation throughout the entire subdivision.
I understand that, Rick, but I was just curious what that was on the north side of their property.
Any other
It's
questions?
commercial property.
Sorry, what?
It's commercial property.
Okay. Any other questions by the board?
Yeah, yes, Mr. Chairman. What is it cleared right now? What percentage?
It's cleared to 60.6%. So there's an additional 1,682 square feet that can be cleared. And when you look on the survey, you can see the squiggle lines here where it says edge of woods.
Yes.
That area can be cleared up to this line here that I'm noting where it says existing buffer. That's that variable width buffer. So
Okay.
there's a little bit of room, but you can see where their leaching pools
Right.
are.
So it'll give them a total of 65.6 as we have in the staff recommendations.
Correct.
Okay.
But you'd have to remove some of those leaching pools, is that correct?
I would have to relocate one.
One of them? Okay. Any other questions by the board? May I have a motion?
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to close this public hearing and place the matter on the decision calendar.
Motion to close by Mr. Smith,
Second.
second by Ms. Dunn. Mr. Zarcone,
I vote yes.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Walutis,
yes,
Mr. Rose,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Williams.
Thank you.
Item number 3, Country Gardens, lot number 62 at Manaville.
The applicant is requesting a clearing limit increase from 36% to 53%. The parcel is currently zoned E2 and is approximately 40,000 square feet. The parcel is located within the compatible growth area of the Suffolk County Pine Barrens Critical Environmental Area and was created prior to legislation and therefore considered non-development. The development of the Country Garden subdivision has current clearing limits placed on this lot that are more restrictive than the Central Pine Barrens Comprehensive Land Use Plan of 53% for A2 zoning. A 36% limit for 40,000 square foot parcels would result in a restrictive footprint and yard area. The Division of Environmental Protection does not have an objection and recommends the following: an allowance of a clearing increase from 36% to 53% and submit amended covenants prior to recording. The covenants and conditions are last dated 5/28/2020, and there's 3 of them.
Thank you, Commissioner. Council, do we have anyone in the participant on this application?
Yes, I have Mr. Starr.
Okay. Mr. Starr, can I see Mr. Starr?
Hello, can you see us?
I can see you now. Can you please raise your right hand? You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Mr. Starr. You want to speak? Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm with my wife, Christine. We've been residing now for almost 19 years at 6 Par Drive in Manorville. And, in light of some recent, pandemic events that took place, we finally realized maybe we should, get a pool and start thinking about ourselves rather than, traveling and leaving Long Island. So having said that, I preliminary reached out to Brooks Sturgeon, and he informed me that I had neighbors in my development, 2 that have already had limit increases up to 53%. So he suggested I get a current survey, which I did, and I am currently at 52.3%. So I was hoping to get it approved to the 53% limit increase.
And that's what staff is recommending at this present time.
Correct.
Okay, so anyone else in the chat room, Counselor?
No.
Any board members have questions? Can I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to close this public hearing and place the matter on the decision calendar.
Motion to close by Ms. Dunn,
Second, Richard Smith.
second by Mr. Smith. Mr. Zarcone,
I vote aye.
Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
yes,
Mr. Rose?
Aye.
The chair votes aye, motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Stahl. Item number 4, Scenic Hills, lot number 78 at Ridge.
The applicant requests a clearing limit increase from 41% to 68%. Property is located within the compatible growth area of the Central Suffolk Pine Barrens. Zoned A1 and the lot size is approximately 38,601 square feet. The current clearing recommendations for lots zoned A1 and located within the compatible growth area of the Central Pine Barrens is 53%. The Division of Environmental Protection recommends the following. Denial of the request from 41% to 68%. Allowance of a clearing limit increase from 41% to 53%. Revegetate areas cleared in excess of 53%. Submit covenants prior to recording in the Suffolk County Clerk's Office. 4 staff recommendations, last revised 6/12/2020.
Thank you, Commissioner. Council, is there anyone a participant on this application?
Yes, I have Eileen Rowan.
Okay, can you bring her in?
Yep, she's there.
Am I good? Am I good to go?
Yes, you are.
Okay, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay,
Good afternoon, Chairman and board members. The property owners are trying to close out a permit for a deck and a sunroom, and the clearing became an issue while they were closing out. They have cleared 68% of the lot where 41% is allowed. Old areas back to 1994, it appears the lot was cleared prior to that date. The house was built in 1988. Clearing seems to be consistent through the years from that point until now on this lot. Many of the properties located in this development have cleared far beyond the 41%. It has been my experience that people don't understand the concept of covenants limiting the clearing on the property. I also understand that this is not an excuse for non-compliance. The Pine Barrens Commission, established in the early 1900s, allows for 53% clearing in the compatible growth areas. This lot is located there. Town staff recommendation is relief of the 41% to the 53%. The applicant will accept the 53% clearing instead of the 68% requested and revegetate the areas cleared in excess of 53% if the board is willing to properly under such relief.
thank you, Ms. Rowan. Is that, I received a letter on that. Is that your letter?
That's it.
Okay, we have that. We made it part of the application, part of the file. Any board members have questions on this application? Seeing none, can I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, this is Steve Walutis. I make a motion to close this public hearing and place it on the decision calendar.
Motion to close by Mr. Walutis,
Mr. Chairman, this is Board Member Pete Zarcone. I'll second that motion.
second by Mr. Zarcone. Ms. Kelly?
Aye.
Ms. Dunn?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Rose?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Ms. Rowan.
Thank you very much.
Okay, once again, I'd like to
Chairman,
read-
before you start the next hearing, can I make another announcement? I have a lot of people in the queue.
I was just getting ready to do that, but go ahead,
Yeah.
Counselor. Go ahead.
I have at least a half a dozen people in the queue, and I do not know what application they're here for. Please, if you
Yes.
are in the attendees queue, please in the Q&A or the chat function, or rename yourself and put in the application number that you are here for on the agenda, and whether you represent the applicants or whether you're from the public. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Item number 5, Suffolk Farms, lot number 15 at Port Jeff Station.
The applicant requests a clearing limit increase from 53% to 69%. An updated survey submitted depicts current clearing at 80%. The parcel is located outside of all state and local critical environmental areas. And the Division of Environmental Protection requests approval of this application with 7 recommendations, last dated 7/1/2020. The allowance of a clearing limit increase from 53% to 69%. Revegetate areas in excess of 69%. And submit all your covenants and restrictions prior to Suffolk County's file.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do we have a participant on this, Counselor?
Yes. Mario's? Yep, Mario's there.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Mr.
Hello.
Yes,
Mr.
please.
Chairman.
Mario, please raise your right hand. You
Okay,
swear,
Chairman.
do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, go ahead, Mario.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I'm here on behalf of Mr. and Mrs. Steigman, the owners of 5 Douglas Street in Fort Jeff Station. They currently have a permit for a pool that they're looking to close out and get the CO for. From the pictures I've submitted, you'll see that the backyard is basically done, and they would like, they're willing to do an increase in planting, but we're respectfully request the increase only to 69% because they want to have some backyard left for, to enjoy.
Is that it, Mr. Mario?
Yes.
That conclude your presentation. Counselor, is anyone else participating
no
on
one
this
else.
application?
No.
Any board members have questions on the application? Seeing none, can I have a motion? May I have a motion, please, on item number 5?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion to close this public hearing and place it on the decision calendar.
Motion to close by Ms. Dunn,
Second,
Chairman, I'll-
this is Richard Smith.
second by Mr. Smith. Mr. Zarcone,
Aye.
Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Mr. Rose.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, item number 6, Twin Ponds Estate, lot number 21 at Middle Island.
The applicant is requesting a decrease in the 50-foot natural and undisturbed buffer to 25 feet and an increase in clearing from 44% to 100%. The subdivision was originally a farm and was cleared to 100%. The property is smaller in size compared to most properties along the east side of Creekside Road and has a more confined building footprint. The property is adjacent to the New York State DEC Preservation Area, which serves as a valuable natural resource to Long Island. The Division of Environmental Protection has no objection to the relief of covenant application to reduce the easterly 50-foot natural and undisturbed buffer to 25 feet, allowance of the eastern buffer to naturally revegetate, allowance of a fence to remain in the buffer, and there are 7 total staff recommendations dated 7/2/2020.
Thank you, Commissioner. Counselor, can you bring the participants in on this application?
Yes, I have Ms. DeVito.
Hi, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. You can.
Mr. Chairman and members of the board, good afternoon. I'm Amy DeVito with Woodhull Expediting. My client purchased this property in 2018. He did not conduct any of the clearing at all that occurred on this property. He bought the property in its current condition. Historic aerials show that this property was actually farmland many, many years ago. And the CO was issued with the clearing restrictions with all the no actual existing clearing, but for a very small area. Actually, you can see it on the screen, but for a very small area that was vegetated at the time when the CO was issued. So we're requesting 100% clearing limit, an increase of the clearing limit to 100% for this property, but we would like to maintain the 25-foot natural buffer, or rather reduce it from 50 to 25 feet, just to maintain an area that abuts up next to the conservation area.
Okay, Ms. DeVito, did you receive a copy of the staff recommendations?
Yes, I did.
Okay, all right. Does that conclude your presentation?
That concludes.
Okay. The only thing in the buffer at the present time is the fence?
That's correct.
Okay. Any board members have questions?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, seeing none, may I have a motion?
Chairman, I'll make a motion to close this public hearing and place the matter on a decision calendar.
Motion to close by Mr. Rose,
Second, Richard Smith.
second by Mr. Smith. Mr. Zarcone,
I vote aye.
Ms. Kelly.
I vote aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Dunn,
Aye.
chair votes aye. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Ms.
Thank
DeVito.
you. Good evening.
Item number 7, Quigley Estates at Medford.
Property is located on the north side of Granny Road on the east side of Mill Road in Medford. The applicant requests a clearing of 400 square foot area within the 40-foot natural buffer located on Lot 1 of the subdivision, and a clearing of a 400 square foot area within the 20-foot natural buffer located on Lot 31 of the subdivision in order to install subdivision signs. There are staff recommendations 2 dated 7/2/2020. The proposed signs would require clearing of a total of 800 square feet within the covenanted natural and undisturbed buffer areas. This action would constitute a 0.0002% increase in the entire site clearing. The Division of Environmental Protection finds the project will not exceed the 53% overall clearing threshold for the subdivision. They recommend permission to allow the clearance of the two 400 square foot areas within the natural buffer, subject to the Board of Zoning Appeals, and submit amended covenants to the division before recording.
Thank you, Commissioner. Council, who do we have representing this application?
I have Mr. Davis, and I have someone else from the public when Mr. Davis is done.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair.
Oh, good afternoon, Councilor. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you this afternoon?
Good, good. Thank you.
Good. Larry Davis, 175 Oak Street, Patchogue, New York, for the applicant. Mr. Chairman, we're just looking to clear a little bit of the buffer at the beginning to put some monument signs to help give a little pizzazz to the entrance of the subdivision. I've reviewed the recommendations of staff. We have no objection to them and ask that the board look favorably upon this application.
All right, Councilor. You know, has to go to, requires BZA approval to move forward with the signs.
We are aware of that, Mr. Chair, and we're looking forward to making that application.
Okay. Just for the board's knowledge, this is the application that was presented by Mr. Kramer, where they had Kramer Road and Shire Road. If that rings.
Okay.
Okay, so. All right. No questions by the board? May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to close this
Oh,
public
wait,
hearing.
wait, I'm sorry. There's someone here.
Oh, public, yes.
Oh, there's someone else? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll let that person in. Ms.
Hello.
Manderson? Okay.
Hi.
Ms. Manderson.
Ms. Manderson, okay, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Ms. Manderson, go ahead.
Oh, no, I just was curious because I live south of this construction, so I just wanted to make sure it wasn't interfering where I lived. But now that I see what they're going to do, I have no problems.
Okay, thank you. Stay
Thank
safe.
you. Thank you.
May I have a motion, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to close this public hearing and place the matter on the decision calendar.
Motion closed by Ms. Dunn,
Second, Richard Smith.
second by Mr. Smith. Mr. Zarcone,
I vote aye.
Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
I vote aye.
Mr. Rose.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 7-0. Ms.
Mr.
Kelly,
Chairman?
I think, Ms. Kelly, I know you're struggling with your vocal cords there, so maybe when I ask you for your vote, just raise your hand if you want. Let me know by a hand signal, okay, so you don't have to strain your voice. Is that helpful?
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I still have, again, a lot of people in the queue, and that I'm not sure what they're here for. So if you are in the queue, please let me know what application you are here for on what agenda number.
Okay. Item number 8, Winterling Street, Tap Street at Coram.
Property is located on the north side of Pine Road between segments of Winterling Street in Coram. The applicant requests a Tap Street review for access from the end of the western segment of Winterling Street for a proposed 4-lot land division application, which is pending before the Board of Appeals. Staff report dated 7/20/2020 recommends 4 conditions for approval of the Tap Street access from Winterling Court.
Okay. You want to bring a participant in, Counselor?
I have Mr. Davis here.
Okay.
Hello again, Mr. Chair.
Good afternoon again, Counselor.
Okay, Larry Davis, 175 Oak Street, Patchogue, New York, for the applicant. Mr. Chair, when we left off, we had adjourned this from a previous hearing. We've met with staff, and as you can see, their revised recommendation stated July 20th. The applicant has no issue with any of those conditions, and we ask that the board look favorably upon this application.
Thank you, Counselor. Any questions by the board? Anyone? Are there any other ones, public, Counselor?
No, I have no one.
Any board questions? Seeing none, may I have a motion?
John Rose here. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to close this public hearing and place the matter on the decision calendar.
Motion to close by Mr. Rose,
Second, Richard Smith.
second by Mr. Smith. Mr. Zarcone,
I vote aye.
Ms. Kelly, I don't see you.
Aye.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. All right, Mr. Walutis,
I vote aye.
Ms. Dunn,
Aye.
chair votes aye, motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Counselor.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Item number 9, Gateway 1, Center Facade at Patchogue.
Yes, I'm bringing some people in on it.
Excuse me, Counselor?
I have people coming in on this one.
Okay, is the commissioner available?
Yeah, I was just getting the
Okay,
elevations up for you. The application is for modification to the previously approved facade renovation for the existing shopping center located on the North Sunrise Service Road. The applicant proposes to change a portion of the former Bob's Store elevation. The March 9th, 2020 approval split the space into two, with Ashley Home Stores proposed for the westerly portion. At that time, there was no tenant lined up for the balance of the space. Burlington is now proposed to occupy the newly created tenant space and proposing some exterior modifications, including different colors and materials. While windows east of the Ashley Home Store entry will also be infilled. Staff recommendation is for approval with 2 staff conditions, last dated 7/6/2020.
thank you, Commissioner. Want to bring a participant in?
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. This is Jacqueline Peranto with Key Civil Engineering, representing the applicant.
Okay, 1 second. Are you a counselor? Are you a lawyer?
No, I'm a site engineer.
Okay, I can't physically see you, but if you could raise your right hand, let me know when you swear or affirm to tell. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
Okay, you can go ahead. Present you.
And I just wanted to make the introduction. Beth summarized it well. And with that, I'd like to turn it over. Matt DiGiamo and Jessica Senger is the project architect, and they're on the screen here with us, and they can give you a little more detail on what the change is for the Burlington tenant.
Okay, I need for both Matt and the lady to raise their right hand. Can they hear me? Please raise your right hand.
Yes.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Stuck.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Matt. We can hear you. The camera is basically behind you, though, if that's where.
Were you going to present something? I don't know if they can hear me.
You know, really more if the board has questions as to what the changes are. I think the next slide provides the elevation in color.
I think what would be helpful if we saw the original elevations that were approved prior to the split between Burlington and Ashley. Okay, so a lot of the windows will be removed. Is that correct?
Yes.
I'm stuck in this.
Pull up my. So in just doing a little bit of a side by side. So Burlington is to the right of Ashley's, which is off of this view. I don't know if there's another.
This one right here? I'm circling?
That was the Bob's store.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So, yep. So that's the continuation of it. Yep. And so it is, Burlington is changing to more of a tan color versus a gray color. So kind of going back to the scheme of the home goods and tying in the combination of the grays and tans. And Burlington's backdrop is a red ephes, I believe the material is, but it's not illuminated. They're non-illuminated panels in a red color. And again, signage is going to be left to the tenants to come in on their own and obtain board approval for.
Okay, that was part of the prior staff
Condition.
recommendations that was approved.
Yes. Correct.
Okay, let me ask that. The board have any questions, Mr. Smith?
I'm trying to look at, I see do we have color renderings of the new proposed?
That's all I
I think
have.
she was getting to move on that.
Let's see.
I'm looking on I have a separate screen here.
That's what I have. Let me see. They might be underneath. Hold on. There you go. Sorry. Is that better?
Yeah, this was on, it's on C, the amended elevations.
Yes. It's the second page.
Okay. That's why I missed it.
Okay, and the break between Burlington and Ashley, that's the color change that goes from the
Correct.
lighter to a darker gray?
Yep, right where she's circling.
Okay.
Or more of a beige, whatever. It makes the two sides of it look consistent with each other.
John, why don't you just speak to Jackie? She's on that same conference I'm on. Right now.
I'm fine with that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, all right. So any other questions by the board? May I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to close this public hearing and place the matter on the decision calendar.
Motion to close by Ms. Dunn,
Second by Richard Smith.
second by Mr. Smith. Mr. Zarcone,
I vote aye.
Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Mr. Rose.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 10, 422 Main Street at Center Moriches.
Project is located on the southwest corner of Montauk Highway and Canal Street, Center Moriches. Proposal is a facade renovation of an existing building, including demolition of the rear portion of the building and creating 2 retail tenant spaces. The subject parcel falls within the Center Moriches Historic District and has been granted final approval with conditions from the HDAC. The site also falls within the J6 zoning district and is subject to Main Street Business District Manual's design. There are 12 staff recommendations, last dated 7/13/2020, and the staff recommends approval.
Okay, you want to bring the participants in, Counselor?
Yes. I have someone in. Mr. Sarwar?
Yes,
Good afternoon. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
yes, sir.
Okay. Go ahead, Sawa.
Yes. So this one and also that the historic district approval, and we want to be get a permit and as soon as possible that we want to be work start. And this is a couple year took me that look like it's very ugly. So we want to now clean up and we want to be finished that.
Okay, have you submitted your site plan to the fire marshal at the present time and the county health department?
I believe, sir.
I know there was an issue with some of the sewer locations on this particular site. So naturally you're going to require their approval before you go forward. Is that your whole presentation? Do we have color elevations on this?
They're on the screen. They're just tan.
Just tan? Does that conclude your presentation, Mr. Sawa?
Yes, sir.
Any questions by the board?
Do we have any tenants proposed for this space?
I have a few attendants, and first they want to look, finish a building, and then they can decide. But I have a lot of calls, and local broker also, Jerry, they call me, and she said a lot of people interesting, but first they want to be finished and what they can get approval, and they have to look.
Okay, good luck with it.
And
Thank
you're also removing a portion of the southern portion of this building, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And the parking that's the municipal parking area to the west, or are you sharing the parking to the east of this?
That we have a municipal parking, and also we want to be, when we tear down in the back, and we can also get some parking.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions by the board? May I have a motion, please?
Yes, Chairman, this is Karen Dunn. I make a motion to close this public hearing and place the matter on the decision calendar.
Motion to close by Ms. Dunn,
Second by Richard Smith.
second by Mr. Smith. Mr. Zarcone?
Vote aye.
Ms. Kelly?
Aye.
Mr. Walutis?
Aye.
Mr. Rose?
I vote aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Item number 11, 30 to Green at Shirley. This is an application that we heard last time that we asked them, we held it open for
You want the elevation?
reservations. Yes, please.
The property is located on the northwest corner of the Green and Roberts Road in Shirley. The property is zoned J2 and is approximately 4 acres in size. The proposal is to convert a former bowling alley into retail space and a roller rink, requiring a planning board special permit for an assembly social recreation hall and a variance for the amount of parking. The bowling alley was constructed as a result of a 1975 site plan by the planning board. There are 13 staff recommendations, last dated 7/23/2020, and the staff recommends approval of the change of use with special permit and variances subject to those 13 conditions.
Thank you, Commissioner. Before we bring a participant for the board's knowledge, can we put the original elevations that were proposed on this site, the reason why we held it open?
I don't know if I have those. I have, let's see, might be these. That's it, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, we have Mr. Peter.
Yeah, I'm here for the roller rink, not for the Family Dollar store.
Okay, and we have Mr. Aresta.
Yes, I'm here on behalf of JM2 Architecture and the building owner.
Okay, will you two gentlemen please raise your right hand?
I believe we also have a few other people. James Manicone is here as well.
Oh, I see him. Mr. Manicone, all three gentlemen, please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, gentlemen. I don't know who's going to begin, but before you begin, I just want to make a statement that the original elevation was brought to us, was what we turned down primarily for what we're looking at on the screen at the present time. So I wanted to thank Mr. Schroeder for working with you gentlemen and bringing the new elevations into the board's review. So with that being said, go ahead.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. It's great to be back doing a planning board hearing. It's been a while, so it's a pleasure to be back in front of you. This is James Manicone representing JM2 for the applicant, Mr. Daniel Rokich. And yeah, we had met with Bob, and he had conveyed an elevation that had more enhanced windows for the Dollar Tree. So we made that change, consulted with our client, and implemented that, and then resubmitted for your consideration. So beyond that, I believe we've answered all the comments that planning staff has had, and certainly we'll answer any questions you have at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Manicone. Your associates would like to speak as well?
Dominic, did you have anything to add?
No, that was it, James. So unless Peter wants to chip in on the roller rink, and then I believe.
No, I'm fine unless they have any questions for me.
I know that board member Smith has some concerns or questions about the interior, and I think that was also submitted with this new plan.
Yes.
But before I go to Mr. Smith, There's also work that's needed on the outside as far as the asphalt, the paving, the striping, handicap, and all of that. That you understand is on the recommendations.
That we will take care of, yes.
Yes, sir. That's included on the site plan. There's a change of use notes that includes new landscaping and redoing the parking area. As you can see on the screen right now, the roller rink outline is now noted on the floor plan as well. So you can see it'll be primarily on the left side of the building.
Mr. Smith?
I'm trying to, what drawing is that? What letter is that?
That is E.
E.
Should be A1, sir, with the floor plan.
Okay, so the whole area is just going to be, that's going to be all finished with the wood finish for the skating. It's just going to be one continuous open skating plan.
It's gonna be basically like Massapequa or Hicksville, I should say. Their roller rink is the same way. They have beams in there as well. Except in the middle of their rink, they have just like a carpeted area and a little dance floor. We're gonna keep that open in the middle as well. So it'll be one floor, but around the rink will be a kind of like a border to help people who aren't as good at skating to hold on to. Some rink, like 50% of rinks have a like a concrete, lead 40 inches high, and that just goes all the way around. Some don't. We're planning on putting that where you see the dotted lines around the rink. So we're basically about the same setup as just about every rink in America, except for the only rink I guess you guys have one rink out east that's all the way out in the Montauk area. The Legion one, which is kind of like not a true roller rink. That's about a quarter of the size of this. So the Brookhaven town will have basically the only rink around with full arcades and everything else. So you're going to be able to give kids something to do other than go jump on a trampoline somewhere.
What is the general the distance, the closest distance between, let's say if we're looking at the way it's on the screen to the left,
23 feet to the
left,
beam.
the edge of the rink there. What's that?
23 feet.
And you have no intentions of just kind of closing off the middle area?
No, we're going to keep it open only because you only skate around the outside. There'll probably be kids will be congregating there. That's what normally happens at a lot of rinks with beams in them. So everyone just skates around these beams. If you go, like we're in the Roller Skating Association, there's 290 roller skating rinks across the United States. I would say 270 of them have beams. There's not too many places that are columnless. And if you try to take those columns out, I'd be here for another 6 more years trying to get this approved without columns in it.
No, that wasn't my point. My point was not taking out the columns, but if that was fenced or whatever, no one could, there'd be no way.
Well, they're going to be padded. That's what they do. What they do is they put like, there's like a 2-inch pad. So if you drove straight into it, it would, you'd have to really be booking. But most people use them, like they're mostly around the outside. Like I said, if you roller skated before, like a 2002, or the one in Center Reach, or the one in Bayshore, they all have columns in it and never seem to have an issue. And hopefully we don't either. I mean, we're basically doing what everybody else has done, and just trying to bring something to Brookhaven that has been missing for years.
Okay, well, good luck with it.
Thank you.
Any other questions by the board? May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, this is Karen Dunn. I'd like to make a motion to close this public hearing and place the matter on the decision calendar.
Motion to close by Ms. Dunn,
Second by Richard Smith.
second by Mr. Smith. Ms. Sarcone,
I vote aye.
Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Ms. Walutis,
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Rose.
I vote aye, Mr. Chairman.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, guys.
Item number 12, Lowe's at Stony Brook.
Project is located on the north side of New York State Route 347 in Stony Brook. The application is for a special permit for temporary outdoor display and sales. The staff report indicates that temporary display and or sale of goods, products, or merchandise for retail sales to the general public for personal or household consumption should be situated adjacent to the main building or structure. This is part of the town's definition of outdoor display. The staff recommends that the extent of the proposal may go beyond this display into storage in some areas. It should also be noted, I'm going to bring it up, that the outdoor display special permit that when the town board granted this project,
Beth, I'm just going to interject. I don't seem to have anyone in the queue representing the applicant.
okay. Sorry.
Unless there's someone there that has not let me know what they're here for.
At the time of the special permit application, the town board noted that outdoor retail display is on the sidewalk only, not more than 10 feet of sidewalk closest to the building to be used for retail purposes.
Okay, Commissioner, thank you. Council, you want to ask once again if the participants?
Is there anyone here representing number 12, Lowe's at Stony Brook? Is there someone in the queue who has not mentioned that they're here for this application?
Well, no one's here. Does the board have questions on this application? I think the commissioner spelled it out perfectly. It was a town board grant, and part of that grant was the less than 10 foot to storage. A lot of the stuff that's being put on outsourced right now is not for display items. It seems like it's more for storage. The stuff is all bundled up. It's as it comes off the freight vehicles, it's just sitting out there. So anybody have questions? All right, let me have a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to close this public hearing and place the matter on the decision calendar.
Motion to close by Mr. Smith,
Second.
second by Ms. Dunn. Mr. Zarcone,
I'll vote aye.
Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Mr. Rose,
Aye, Mr. Chairman.
chair votes aye. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 13, Taco Bell at Coram.
Pulling it up now. Do you want the site plan?
Yes,
Okay.
then we'll go to the elevations. I think we have someone in the chat room or a participant to represent this.
The proposal is for the construction of an 1,887 square foot Taco Bell with drive-through and a special permit for a major restaurant within a commercial center. Property is located on the south side of Middle Country Road, 1,150 feet east of New York State Route 112 in Coram. The Board of Appeals granted waivers of the special permit criteria on March 25th, 2020. There are 6 staff recommendations, last dated July 2nd, 2020, recommending approval of the application.
Okay, Council, you want to bring?
Yes, I have Mr. Sneed and Mr. Main in the meeting.
Okay. Good afternoon, Councilor.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me before the board today. With me is Eric Mean with Bowler Engineering. He's here to address any questions regarding the actual layout of the plan. Plan as Ms. Riley went through it is adequate, very good, in fact. And I'll turn this over to Mr. Mean and any questions the board may have.
Okay. Can we have Mr. Mean raise his right hand? I don't see him, so let me know.
It's
up. There.
Thank you,
Raising
Chairman.
his hand.
Oh, okay. Got that smiling face with your hand up. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Mean.
Yeah, Eric Mine, Bowler, 2929 Express Drive North, Hauppauge, New York, here on behalf of the applicant.
we worked long and hard on this project. For all transparency, my firm also worked on the McDonald's across the street. So we did significant legwork with the Coram Civic Association on that application. Coming in on this one, we learned our lessons and we went to the civics first, presented multiple layouts as well as multiple building options to get their feedback, and that's kind of where we landed. We took elements from the Shirley and Port Jeff stores, which were both HDAC applications, and then tried to incorporate some pitched roof into what we know the design intent to be for this corridor. And that's kind of where we landed with this design.
Okay, the original building is taken down, correct?
Correct. The bank building is gone.
Did you acquire a demolition permit to do that?
We don't know how it happened. I'm working on behalf of Taco Bell. It appears the landlord was the one who took down the building.
Okay, so you have to acquire a demolition permit and close out the original CO on that building?
Yeah, we'll have to look into that again. That's a little beyond our scope.
Okay. Does that conclude your presentation?
Yeah, other than, Ms. Riley, can you pull up the site plan real quick?
Yep.
Sorry, our files are ginormous. It'll take me a second.
It's okay. Let me zoom out for a second.
Yeah, please.
It's loading oddly. Hold on.
Yeah, I think because of that aerial map on the cover sheet makes it big.
Yeah.
Well, in any case, I just wanted to talk about the balance we tried to make between, the J2 zoning and then the underlying J6 that's, intended for the corridor. We thought it made sense to provide the parking at the rear, which is in spirit with trying to provide the downtown development. As much as that places the drive-through in the front yard, the drive-through won't always have vehicles in it. It provides a better face with the vehicles parking at the rear. And we were able to get a significant amount of landscaping along the frontage, along with the berm. So we think it provides a good face for the area. We were happy to work with the civics to get there, and we were also able to incorporate some pedestrian connectivity between the two sites. So these are all positives. We think will make this a good fit for the area.
Do you have sufficient space there for like an escape lane if somebody decides they no longer stay on that line?
It's 12 feet wide, so it's probably not wide enough for an escape lane. It's something we weighed, but generally we find that people who want to get to the drive-through are going to the drive-through. And that's why the site's kind of situated such that the parking customers will be directly across from the building, across the drive aisle. And if you're investing in the drive-through, you're getting in there. The only way to design around that would be to eat into the landscape buffer to the roadway, which we thought was an important element of the design to maintain a streetscape there.
Those are street trees over on that north side?
Yeah, we have street trees. Technically, the property to the south is a DOT right-of-way. It's owned by the DOT. It was for the Forum Middle Country Road alignment plan they were considering. So we actually have street trees on both sides of the site, the north and the south side.
Questions by the board?
I have a quick question, Mr. Chairman. This is Pete Zarcone. I'm just trying to figure out the location. Is that close to the Dunkin' Donuts and the Home Depot? Yes, so the Dunkin' Donuts is directly to the west, right there.
That's what I thought it was. And that was the bank that was to the right you took down, or had
Correct.
it taken down.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's really all I wanted to know.
Any other questions? May I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, this is John Rose. I make a motion to close this public hearing and place the item on the decision calendar.
Motion to close by Mr. Rose,
Second, by Richard Smith.
second by Mr. Smith. Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Ms. Dunn,
Aye.
chair votes aye, motion carries.
And
7-0.
Mr. Zarcone votes aye.
Mr. Zarcone.
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you
Pleasure
very
up here.
much.
Thank you.
Middle Island Storage Property LLC at Middle Island.
The property is located at 901 Middle Country Road, Middle Island, on the north side of Middle Country Road. The site plan application is for the construction of a 5,200 square foot expansion to an existing mini storage facilities and related site improvements. There are 5 staff recommendations, last dated June 24th, 2020. Staff recommends approval of the subject site plan, special permit, and variance application.
Thank you, Commissioner. Counselor, is there a participant
Yep.
representing? Who do we have?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Yulia Viola for the applicant, 3 Tillman Ballin, 100 Motor Parkway, Hapag, New York.
Good afternoon, Counselor. Go ahead. You can go ahead.
Well, we have reviewed the staff recommendations and we are in agreement with the recommendations except for condition number 4. The applicant has no objection to the substance of this condition, but would like to add a time and limitation for the compliance. And specifically, we would like to modify the language to specify that the applicant will replace non-native species with native species prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy for building number 3.
Commissioner, can you just, for the board, I can't see what condition number 4, I have no control over the screen.
Okay, you got it.
Ms. Viola, you've been hanging out with Mr. Shea too long.
Can I ask a question then? Why? Why is there a need to, why can't you do it when you're doing the other site work? Why does it need to happen later?
Well, first of all, we can't really do the site work without the certificate of occupancy.
Well, no, the certificate of occupancy is going to come at the end. So why is there, what is the reason that this landscaping can't be done while you're doing your other landscaping on site? I mean, you're asking the board, this is why I'm asking, you're asking the board to go against the recommendation of Pine Barrens for something that seems really easy to replace the non-native vegetation with native vegetation. So I guess I'm trying to be clear on why that needs to happen later.
Okay, so then I have a question for the board. So if in order for us to comply with condition number 4, at which point do we need to replant, replace non-native with native species?
Well, I would assume it'd be prior to receiving a CO. All the requirements have to be met before a CO can be obtained.
Is the concern that you think you can't get sign off until they're done?
No, the client, we really don't have a major issue with this condition. We just wanted to clarify and know exactly when the client can start construction and make sure that he's not going to be required to do replanting right now, let's say in the next months or so.
I don't see that as a problem. I mean, as he completes the project and moves forward before he finalizing and obtains the CO, he's going to have to complete that, the non-native, the native species.
Yeah, and we have no problem doing this prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy. So I guess in this case, we will be okay with the condition number 4 as it is written.
All right, thank you. Can we see the elevations on this extension?
Oh, sorry.
Where is the addition?
Shrinks.
Isn't it, the addition is a separate building, isn't it?
Yeah, here it is.
Correct.
It's just in the back.
It's just, it's really just another building. It's not really an addition.
Yes, we're proposing to construct a third 5,200 square foot mini storage building. And this will be a one-story building, as you can see, which will consist of 26 drive-up units. And other than adding 5,200 square feet, we're not proposing any other changes. We're not adding parking stalls. We're not changing configuration of the parking. We're not proposing any other changes. I would say the only change that we're proposing is basically replacing the 3 existing lighting poles with the 3 wall sconces on building number 3.
All right, Counselor. Any other questions by the board? Seeing none, can I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, John Rose will make a motion to close this public hearing and place the matter on the decision calendar.
Motion to close by Mr. Rose,
Second by Richard Smith.
second by Mr. Smith. Mr. Zarcone,
I vote aye.
Ms. Kelly,
I vote aye.
Ms. Williams,
Aye.
Ms. Dunn.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Counselor.
Thank you.
Item number 15, Old Orchard subdivision at Wading River is being held to August 17th, so I'd like to go back to item number 2.
Ready, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Smith.
I'd like to make a motion to deny a clearing limit to 82.1%, but to allow a clearing limit up to 65.6%, with the exception that the clearing limit will follow the variable width natural and disturbance buffer as depicted on the survey.
Motion by Mr. Smith. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second is, I have a question. I mean, if he really cuts his property short by the back of the house to the clearing limit, I guess with that line, the 1,600 or so many additional feet should be sufficient for the pool. So, all right, I have a motion by Mr. Smith, second by Ms. Dunn. Mr. Zarcone,
Vote aye.
Ms. Kelly,
I vote aye.
Mr. Walutis,
I vote yes.
Mr. Smith. Oh, you made the motion.
I made the motion.
Mr. Rose.
Aye, Mr. Chairman.
Motion carries 7-0. Chair votes aye. Country Gardens, lot 62 at Manorville.
Mr. Chairman, this is Karen Dunn. I make a motion to approve this application for an increase in clearing limit from 36% to 53% with staff recommendations 1 through 3, last dated May 28th, 2020, as covenants and conditions of the approval.
Motion by Ms. Dunn. Can I have a second?
Second by Richard Smith.
Second by Mr. Smith. Mr. Zarcone,
I vote aye.
Ms. Kelly,
I vote aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Mr. Rose.
I vote aye.
No. Okay. Chair votes aye. Motion carries 7-0. Scenic Hills, lot 78 at Ridge.
Mr. Chairman, this is Steve Walutis. I move to deny the application for an increase in clearing limits from 41% to 68%, but to approve or allow an increase in the clearing limits from 41% to 53%, subject to staff recommendations 1 through 4, dated 6/12/2020, as covenants and conditions of the approval.
Motion by Mr. Walutis. Can I have a second?
Mr. Chairman, this is Board Member Pete Zarcone. I second that motion.
Motion by second by Mr. Zarcone. Ms. Kelly,
I vote aye.
Ms. Dunn,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Rose.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 5, Suffolk Farms, lot number 15 at Fort Jeff Station.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to allow a clearing limit increase from 53% to 69% with staff recommendations numbered 1 through 7, last dated July 1st, 2020, as covenants and conditions of the approval.
Motion by Mr. Smith,
This is Karen Dunn. I second that motion.
second by Ms. Dunn. Mr. Zarcone,
Vote aye.
Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Mr. Rose.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 6, Twin Pond Estates, lot 21 at Middle Island.
This is John Rose, Mr. Chairman. And I make a motion to approve the applicant's request for an increase in clearing limits from 44% to 100% and to reduce the existing 50-foot buffer to a 25-foot buffer, subject to all staff recommendations, numbered 1 through 7, last revised July 2nd, 2020, as covenants and conditions of the approval.
Okay, motion by Mr. Rose,
A second by Richard Smith.
second by Mr. Smith. Mr. Zarcone,
I vote aye.
Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Ms. Dunn.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 7-0. Item number 7, Quigley Estates in Medford.
Mr. Chairman, this is Karen Dunn. I make a motion to approve this application to clear two 400 square foot areas within the natural buffer area for installation of signs subject to the BZA approval, subject to 2 staff recommendations last dated July 2nd, 2020, as covenants and conditions of the approval.
Motion by Ms. Dunn,
Second by Richard
second by
Smith.
Mr. Smith. Mr. Zarcone,
I vote aye.
Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Mr. Rose.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 7-0. Item number 8, Winterling Street, Tap Street at Coram.
This is John Rose, Mr. Chairman. I make a motion to approve the applicant's request for Tap Street review for access from the end of the western segment of Winterling Street for a proposed 4-lot subdivision along with all staff recommendations number 1 through 4, last reviewed July 20th, 2020, as covenants and conditions of the approval.
Motion by Mr. Rose,
Second, Richard
second by
Smith.
Mr. Smith. Mr. Zarcone,
I vote aye.
Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Ms. Dunn.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 7-0. Item number 9, Gateway 1 Center Facade at Hacksaw.
Mr. Chairman, this is Karen Dunn. I make a motion to approve the new elevation to previously approved facade renovation with 2 staff recommendations last dated July 6th, 2020, as covenants and conditions of the approval.
Motion by Ms. Dunn,
Second, Richard
second by
Smith.
Mr. Smith. Mr. Zarcone,
I vote aye.
Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Mr. Rose.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, 7-0, motion carries. Item number 10, 422 Main Street at Center Merchants.
Mr. Chairman, this is Board Member Karen Dunn. I make a motion to approve this request for a facade renovation of an existing building and demolishing the rear portion and creating 2 retail tenant spaces with staff recommendations 1 through 12, last dated July 13th, 2020, as covenants and conditions of the approval.
Motion by Ms. Dunn,
Second, Richard Smith.
second by Mr. Smith. Mr. Zarcone,
I vote aye.
Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Mr. Rose.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, 7-0, motion carries. Item number 11, 30 The Green at Shirley.
Mr. Chairman, this is Board Member Karen Dunn. I make a motion to approve this change of use with special permit and variance 85-427A and 85-852 with staff recommendations 1 through 13, last dated July 13th, 2020,
I need
as
a
covenant.
Can we get a sequence determination?
Oh, I'm
Brian?
sorry. First,
Sorry.
I'll make a motion for a negative secret declaration.
Motion for a neg deck by Ms. Dunn,
Second, Richard Smith.
second by Mr. Smith. Mr. Zarcone,
I vote aye.
Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Ms. Walutis,
Aye.
Mr. Rose.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries. Now we can do the motion on the green.
Now I'll make a motion to approve the change of use with special permit and variance 85-427A and 85-852 with staff recommendations 1 through 13, last dated July 23rd, 2020, as covenants and conditions of the approval.
Motion by Ms. Dunn,
Second, Richard
second by
Smith.
Mr. Smith. Mr. Zarcone,
I vote aye.
Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Mr. Rose.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 7. I went back several times with Mr. Schroeder on this, and the applicant worked with him very closely, so we came up with that design after the windows were put in. They agreed to put the awnings on them as well, so it looks much better. Item number 12, Lowe's at Stony Brook. I'd like to leave this on the decision calendar.
That would be my thoughts too, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Item number 13, Taco Bell at Coram.
Mr. Chairman, John Rose here. I make a motion for a negative secret declaration.
Motion for a neg deck by Mr. Rose,
Second, Richard Smith.
second by Mr. Smith. Mr. Zarcone,
I vote aye.
Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Mr. Smith, no. Who did I ask?
Karen Dunn.
Oh,
Aye.
Ms. Dunn, okay, chair votes aye. Okay, motion carries 7-0.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a further motion to approve the applicant's request to construct a 1,887 square foot major restaurant with a drive-through, along with all staff recommendations numbering 1 through 6, last reviewed July 2nd, 2020, and a special permit number 85-43B, which is granted for a major restaurant within a J2 zone as covenants and conditions of the approval.
Okay, motion by Mr. Rose,
Second,
second
Richard
by
Smith.
Mr. Smith, Mr. Zarcone,
I vote aye.
Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Ms. Dunn,
Aye.
chair votes aye, motion carries 7-0. Number 14, Middle Island Storage Property LLC at Middle Island.
Mr. Chairman, John Rose will also make a motion for a negative secret declaration.
Motion for a neg deck by Mr. Rose,
Second, Richard Smith.
second by Mr. Smith, Mrs. Zarcone,
Vote aye.
Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Ms. Dunn,
Aye.
motion carries 7-0.
Mr. Chairman, I will make a further motion to approve the applicant's request to construct a 5,200 square foot expansion to an existing mini self-storage facility and related site improvements along with all staff recommendations numbering 1 through 5, last reviewed June 24th, 2020, and a special planning board permit number 85-461C, and also 1 planning board variance for parking, number 85-852, as covenants and conditions of the approval.
Motion by Mr. Rose,
Second, Richard
second
Smith.
Mr. Smith, Mr. Zarcone,
I vote aye.
Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Ms. Dunn,
Aye.
and chair votes aye. Motion carries 7-0. Item 15 is being held to August 17th. On the decision calendar, we have Sonic Restaurant in Shirley. The reason we left it on the decision calendar is because we were waiting for the letter from Suffolk County Planning, and we did receive that letter on July 9th, so we can go ahead and decide this.
Mr. Chairman, this is Board Member Karen Dunn. I make a motion to approve this special permit for accessory outdoor seating to a restaurant use for the site plan modification of Sonic Restaurant at Shirley Plaza with 2 staff recommendations last dated June 10th, 2020 as covenants and conditions of the approval.
Motion by Ms. Dunn,
Second, Richard Smith.
second by Mr. Smith, Mr. Zarcone,
I vote aye.
Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
and Mr. Rose.
I vote aye, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, chair votes aye, motion carries 7-0. Is there anything the board wants to discuss before we adjourn? May I have a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman, this is Board Member Pete Zarcone. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Zarcone.
I'll second that motion.
Wow, everybody wants to. I'll take that as Ms. Dunn. Second, Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Rose.
I vote aye, Mr. Chairman.
Chair votes aye, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone stay safe.
Take care, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Thanks.
It's like Hollywood Squares.
Bye. Thank you, Beth.